接，Peter。
打电话是吧？
他有给2个号码。
对。他打那个。
Peter Rollins.
Hello, Peter.
Hello.
Hello. And this is I'm Jeffrey. I'm from the Loughborough Design School.
Indeed. How nice to hear from you. I'm expecting your call.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Peter.
How can I help?
Yeah, and we will have a short interview to you. I think we email you about the details.
Yeah. Well, you haven't given me the details, but I'm very ready for it. That's fine.
Okay, I will talk. I will introduce my interview again. So, the aim of the interview was to understand when you need to use the accessible facilities, and also we want to know the issues passengers faced when using the accessible facilities. And what is the ideal experience for the disabled people would feel like? So
right.
Okay. That's the aim of the interview. And we are going to ask some questions about your existing travel experience in order to help us develop a product for use. And please bear in mind that there's no right or wrong answers. Is that okay for you?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Very good. Okay, so shall we start?
Yes, yes, please.
Good. Okay, great. And first of all, can you please briefly describe your disabled?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I have multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
Which has reached the stage now where it has affected my legs, and I cannot walk.
Okay.
So I can't lift my own legs.
Okay.
So I'm permanently in a seated wheelchair, and I use a big power. Well, it's not big, but it's a very powerful motorized wheelchair to get me around. So I'm self-contained. Yes. And I try to maintain my economic and other independence, and I get out and about. I still work and I go and see clients, and that's what I live in the countryside in Kent, and I use the railways often to go and see my clients, often in London and the home counties.
Okay, I basically understand your situation. I'm sorry for that. And please describe how your disabled impacts on your travel, on your train travel, and whether you normally have assistance from other people.
Right. Well, as I've said to you, I have a motorized wheelchair, which allows me to be self-contained. So getting about, I don't need help. My wheelchair gets me about, so that's fine. I don't need assistance just for basic transport. However, my wheelchair, although it's very maneuverable and it's a very good one, it is completely defeated by steps or stairs. So I have to have a smooth access. And where I need help, therefore, with my transport on the railways, is since it's very rare for the train entrances to be aligned with the platform directly, there's normally a gap, and so I need a ramp to get me from the platform onto the train. I also, of course, need to have accessible platforms to start with. So if the platform is not at the entrance level of the station, I need lifts, obviously, in the station to get me up or down, as the case may be.
Okay. And so we will ask some question about the train traveling. Can you tell us approximately how many journeys each year do you do by train?
Each year?
Yeah, I don't need an accurate number. So.
Oh goodness! Well, I mean, if I say to you, I probably in most weeks probably take, if I include a return journey as 2 journeys, I'm probably traveling on the train through the year on average, I would say 3 days a year. So that's 6 journeys a week. Whatever that is, 6 5, so that's 300 journeys a year, something like that in round numbers.
That's a lot.
Yeah, well, that's 6 a week for 50 weeks.
Okay, I understand.
You understand? I'm counting each journey as 2 journeys there and back.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we'll ask another question about the journey. Okay, in general, traveling by train from the departure to the destination, what did you think of the experience of using the facilities in your trip?
Are you talking about toilet facilities?
Yeah. We are talking, when we talk about the facility, we are talking about the toilet and also the lift and parking. Yeah, accessible parking.
Okay, parking, lift, and then toilets, right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, firstly, parking, my home station is Tunbridge Station in Kent, and the parking there for people with a blue badge, which I have, is very easy.
Oh.
There are lots of blue badge spaces nowadays, and I can almost always find a space in the station car park. Yeah, so that a few years ago that was not the case, but they have about 3 years ago they redeveloped the parking, and it's much bigger, so the parking is easy for me. In the station itself, there are 2 lifts. There's a bridge over the railway. So to get from the up tracks to the down tracks, I have to go up and over the bridge and down again. So there are 2 lifts in the station. Like all of these things, when they work, it's wonderful, and when they don't work, it's impossible for me. I can't travel, and they quite frequently break down. So I can't say that's perfect, but of course, it's very black and white. It's either perfect or it's useless. Do you see what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what causes these lifts to break down as often as they do, but they do, and I don't know. But anyway, when they're working, they're fine. And provided the lifts are working, I have no issue on the trains. Now, the facilities in terms of toilet facilities, because I am disabled the way I am, it's quite difficult for me to stand up. And if I do stand up, I find it, I have to hang on. I cannot stand up unaided. I have to have grab rails to hold on to while I'm standing. You see what I mean? Yeah. Therefore, using a toilet on a moving train is normally quite a difficult experience for me. So that rather affects my answer to your question about the facilities. Yeah. The toilet facilities in disabled cars on most of the trains that I use are normally quite good. But they're quite difficult for me to use, although I can get my wheelchair into them and they're big enough. I find it quite hard to do in a moving train because it just throws me around. That's nothing to do with the facilities. That's just because I'm on a moving train. You understand? So that's not a complaint about the facility. It's just I try to avoid using them unless it's in an emergency because it's difficult for me. And I would rather use the facilities that are present on the station for disabled access. And generally, they're okay, the station ones, because they don't obviously throw me around. You understand the answer I'm trying to give you? I think the provision is good, but it's actually, in my particular case, it's difficult.
Okay, I understand.
And in truth, there's nothing anybody could do about that because moving trains are moving trains, and they move. They can throw me off balance easily, and so there's no complaint there. There's nothing anybody reasonably could do. I think in the main, I would say I'm happy with the facilities provided.
Okay, I understand that. And have you ever faced situations that accessible facility on the train or at the station didn't work? For example, it's broken or?
Yes, often.
Often.
Yeah, often. Okay. In truth, I mean, on the trains, I would have said I've said to you on average through the year, I'm probably taking 6 journeys a week. I would have said at least one of those journeys, I noticed that the facilities are not working.
Okay, at least one. That's a lot.
But well, it is a lot. But then that's only in the particular carriage that I'm in. On the railways that I tend to use, the disabled cars, which have got special spaces for disabled people, and where I can put my wheelchair, generally are the same cars that have toilets in them. Okay, and once I'm on the train, because I'm in my wheelchair, I can't move around the train. I'm in the carriage I'm in.
Yeah.
So I can only tell you about the toilet that is in the carriage that I'm in. And there are normally at least 2 others on the train, which may be fine. And for able-bodied people, they could, if toilet number 1 was not working, they could walk through the train and get to toilet 2 or 3, if you see what I mean. I can't do that. So if the toilet in my carriage is not working, that's a catastrophe for me. And I would have said about 1 in 6 times, that on average, that would be the case.
Oh. So if that, what do you feel? You feel, I mean, make you feel bad or distressed?
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, it can make you feel distressed, all sorts of things. But I'm an experienced traveller, and for that reason, I try not, I try, if I need to use facilities, I try to do it before I get on a train and don't rely on the train.
Okay. And each time, how did you find out it is not working? I mean, how do you know that?
Because on the lines that I use, from Tunbridge, which are southeastern trains and southern trains, the carriages that have the toilets on them, they're electrically operated doors, and there's a display outside it that tells you if it's occupied or if it's not working.
Okay. There's a display, so there's the display show you that.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Sure. Understand. And I'm thinking about, would it be convenient for you if you know in advance before you getting in the train, if you know that it is not, the facility is not working? Is it good for you or?
Well, of course it would be good. It is good because if I'm desperate to go, then I'll go before I get on the train. If I can see in the carriage this is not working, I won't get on.
Okay, I understand that. And okay, in which way do you like to get the information about the accessible facility for the train travel before traveling? I mean, there's numbers of choice. You can use app, if you can use website, or you can use a display screen in the station, or something else. What do you prefer?
What is the information you're referring to that I'm accessing?
About for example, about the toilet is not working. This kind of
right. Okay. Well, I'm not aware of any information anywhere. I mean, I do have the Southeastern Trains app, and I can look on their website and on their app, and at the station itself, and it does not say if the toilets are not working. It's not part of their information suite of information. And indeed, I would be very surprised if they were to do it. I mean, why would they broadcast that? I mean, that would be like saying the train's not working. I mean, they should be fixing it. They shouldn't be telling the customers it's not working.
Yeah.
They should be telling their staff, and their staff should be fixing it so it is working.
Yeah.
I presume that the facilities are working, and I think most passengers would. And that's nothing to do with whether or not I'm disabled. That's just me as a paying passenger. I expect the toilets to be working.
Yeah, I know. Okay, but actually, in some case, it's not working, and if the application can push a message to tell you that, for example, the toilet is unavailable, do you think it's good for you, or what do you think about it?
I have no views, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not the sort of information that I need. I mean, would it, as I've said to you, because I'm an experienced traveller and because it's very difficult for me to use them whether they're working or not, if I think I'm likely to need to use the toilet facilities, I will always go before I get on the train if I can.
Okay.
So being told it is or is not working isn't really information is likely to affect me.
Okay.
Because the point being, even if it is working for reasons I've tried to explain, I probably won't use it anyway. Do you see?
Okay.
I'd be very surprised if any disabled person would. Well, I don't know. Maybe they would, but I would suggest with your research, if people have got the time to put up on a website or on an app, whether or not the toilets are working, if they've got that time to do it, the company, they'd be better to use that time to fix it.
Okay. Good. Good. I understand that, and I think that's all for my questions. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me about what we discussed? Do you have any questions or comments?
No, I've already spent a lot of time previously with earlier colleagues of yours saying the most important thing for me is the information I need is that there will be somebody with a ramp to get me off the train at the other end, and finding people with ramps to get me on when I start. That getting me on and off the train is the most important thing for me, more important than anything else.
Okay, I get it. I understand. So I think that's all. Thank you very much for your time. I think.
My great pleasure. Good luck with your report, and if there's anything else I can do to help you, please don't hesitate to call.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. Have a good day.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.